It's a show of support for Donald Trump. Republicans vying to be his running mate turned out in force at his trial today.
You just saw both Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio and Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama.
Rick Scott joined Donald Trump in court on Friday.
Vivek Ramaswamy, Congressman Byron Donalds, Congressman Corey Mills,
Doug Burgum, Tim Scott, Marco Rubio,
Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Andy Biggs.
You see, Trump is under a gag order and can't attack people involved in the case the way he wants to, so his workaround is to summon his army of puppets to do his bidding. If you're on trial for a criminal charge where character is central to the case, Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert aren't exactly the role models you want with you in the room. That's like if OJ's buddy at his trial were Charles Manson, Hannibal Lecter.
I think one of the things Democrats don't do very well and that Republicans do extremely well, we're just not very good at messaging. The reality is to have that 1980 or before family lifestyle, you got to make $250,000. That's just facts. So while Biden, I do believe, has done good things, very good things that happened. Maybe if these laws were passed 15, 20 years ago and affected them now, they would see it. But we don't. We can praise what's been done, but we don't see what is actually happening is the destruction of the middle class. And until they get the messaging across to at least acknowledge that the economy is doing well, great, but these people are still suffering, their messaging is going to be off. And that's what the things that Trump does well as a dictator, as you see in past history, that's what they do. And the Republicans do well. They use the fear mongering that's there, but at least they have the realistic view that's actually happening out there to the middle class doesn't match up with the Democrats saying how wonderful everything is. And that's where the Democrats' messaging, the biggest problem is just
I have to
understanding.
time out because Fennell's head is going to explode in the lower corner here.
I know. I see Fennell's messaging. I know that one day we're going to be on here debating. I know your thoughts.
We don't have to debate, but this is what I think is really important. I think this is really important. And that is, I don't think that they ever go out and say that everything is perfect. I think that what they said is based on where we came from after 2020, that we've improved jobs. We don't have to pretend or anything. We know where the jobs were and we know where they are now. We know where inflation was and where it started, and we know where inflation is today. We know that there have been significant things that have happened that have benefited people. We know that if you are poor and on Medicaid and you were paying hundreds of dollars for insulin, that you're paying $35 now. We know that you're going to be able to negotiate for prescription drugs. We know these things. And so I listen to people say the same thing. My final point is about housing. Someone's like, oh, we can't buy a house because of the interest rate. But what I would say is, I need you to do a little bit of studying, understand economics, understand how inflation works and what one must do in the country in order to bring it down. So I think that people have gotten so used to saying and seeing and feeling they haven't lived long enough to live through a cycle of when the economy is up and down. And so all they know is what they know. I lived through 2008. I lived through many of these cycles. So I know they go up and down in the cyclical. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying that folks need to do a little teeny bit of homework to understand what's happening and to have a true understanding of the middle classes. When you knock on some doors for people who barely have lights on, those are not the people who are voting. The ones that we're talking about are the ones at the Beyonce and Taylor Swift concerts, and that life is a little bit different. And I'm not going to disagree that the system isn't broken, but I think that you have to look past being broken today in order to have one that you can fix tomorrow. We have a serious thing in front of us in terms of what's going to happen with this election. It is big. It is bigger than anything that we have going on now. And what I want to see is the country, Democrats, Republicans, and independents come together to say, yes, this is bigger than any individual issue we have. It is about saving the country. It is about demonstrating that we want to live in a democracy.